Alright, so making my next video. I'm not in Leviticus. My goal is to just kind of make a video every week and see where it goes. I might get back to going through books of the Bible and that kind of thing, but I more just want to get into the habit and routine of doing this on a consistent basis, because I think that speaking well in front of a camera is an important skill. And so if I want to improve and get better at this particular area, then I'm going to need to do it on a consistent basis. So that's why I'm trying to get my phone out, look into it, turn the camera on, and just start to speak once a week. I must repeat that this is a very extreme and broad feat, and I'm thinking that if I do it consistently, there are people I will meet. Now, let me tell you, I must repeat, I'm not a poet, but I did rhyme just a couple times there. Anyways, so some people that I have met this week through my studies. First off is Francis Schaeffer. Been reading about his life. He started in Pennsylvania. That's where he grew up, and then he went to seminary. He became a believer through reading the Bible. He read through the entire scriptures, came to the belief that this is the Word of God. This represents truth, and decided that he believed that Jesus is who he says he is, and that he would give him his life. So he did that, went to seminary, met a beautiful woman named Edith, and then they pursued ministry together. He was a pastor in St. Louis for 5 years. Then, through involvement with International Missions Organization, he went overseas for over the course of about 3 months, traveled to different parts of Europe and met and engaged with the local leaders, local church leaders, just to see what their needs are and see how he might be able to serve that community through this study, or through this trip, through these different meetings and engagements. It came to be, it was revealed to him, I'll say, that there's a lot of need in Europe, and whenever he returned home, it was agreed upon by both his family and the missions board that he was working with, that his family should move to Europe and serve the communities there, and fighting against this relativistic modernist viewpoint that was holding true to their commitment to the Christian doctrine and faith as it should be. So they moved there, they lived there, and while they were there, they came to kind of not break ties, but they were no longer connected with the missions organization, and they started a home, that functioned as a shelter, and they called it a l'abri. And in that shelter, they basically just housed people who were wandering vagabonds, people throughout Europe, people anywhere who could come and just learn and study and engage with Francis Schaeffer and his Christian beliefs, and hopefully come to, there's not like an agenda, it's not as much evangelistic, but just to answer their questions and to engage in thought together, and it became a big deal and expanded and grew throughout Europe into the United States. So, and then, he became one of the most recognizable figures in Christianity from this, 60s, 70s, 80s. He was a very big name, very widely known. So that's Francis Schaeffer. As far as lessons that I've learned from him, not 100% sure what I would say about that. I think he's a bold person. He speaks his mind. He stands up for what he believes in, and he came to the conclusion that he thought Christianity was true, and so he gave his life for that. Now, what's interesting is a wonderful segue to his son, Frank Schaeffer. He passed on this value of speaking your mind, even if it's a little bit controversial and not what everybody wants to hear. Frank Schaeffer he's written a book titled "I'm a Christian and I'm an Atheist," or "I believe in God, how I am an atheist and believe in God at the same time," something to that effect. Just listened to his talk on Google, and it was kind of interesting, that you have Francis Schaeffer who stands up for the truth and the doctrine of Scripture, and how it should be revered, and how it shouldn't be compromised. And then you have his son who just is not an atheist. He's not a Christian. He's not a believer necessarily. He's just in this middle ground, and maybe he is engaging with faith. Like, he wants to believe, he wants it to be true, but at the same time, he's not like, maybe he's a new type of believer. You could maybe make an argument for that, where he's just trying to be more honest about how he doesn't really know, and there's so many days where he does not believe. He just doesn't believe, and he's not going to say that he does. He's going to be honest and say, no, I don't believe. Today I don't believe. Tomorrow I do. It's kind of like a situation where in The Prestige, there's a man who's married to a woman, and he wakes. Some days he loves his wife, and other days he does not. And there's a very rational reason for why he does not love his wife on those particular days. But if I told you, that would ruin the plot of the movie. So I'll just kind of leave it at that. There's days he loves his wife, and there's days that he does not love his wife in the same way. There are days that Frank Schaeffer believes that God is real, Christ died, all those different things. But there are also days that he does not believe. And I think we all struggle with that. And it seems like he is not willing to he doesn't want to depend upon certainties, as he says quite often in his talk, that he just doesn't want to lean on certainties or think that there have to be certainties in life in order for him to be okay. So what's kind of interesting, what's unique or ironic maybe is the word I'm looking for about the situation, is that his father is so opposed to this relativistic mindset, and then his son is embracing that. And maybe not, but it would seem to be the case that he is more of a relativistic type of individual. So those are the two people so far that I've met this week that I've learned from. Francis Schaeffer, Frank Schaeffer. I want to keep learning, and I think people who you can learn from, even as you're reading and engaging with Scripture, there's a person that's involved. God's a person. There's three persons of the Godhead. So whether I'm learning from God, or I'm learning from humanity. I'm learning from a person, and I just want to kind of highlight the different folks that I'm learning from on a weekly basis, and I hope to continue to do this on a more consistent basis. That is all for today, folks.